Okay, we're gonna start. Hi. Phoebe. Thanks, Phoebes. Thank you, Phoebes. Phoebes. All right. Ooh. Oh. Whoa. Ah. Yes, Phoebe. Come here. Hi, Phoebe. All right. Good morning, self. Today is Friday, February 17th, and we have a long weekend coming up. Very excited for the weekend because me and Devin are gonna work on our house. We're getting our booth installed likely on Sunday, which is amazing, and then we'll be able to start working on the other piece back here, which will be exciting too. No, Phoebe. You already went? Go potty. Go potty. 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 Go potty. Really? Yes, exciting. I didn't finish my journaling yesterday. Another day of not finishing journaling. I was feeling tired and I took a nap and I thought it would only be 30 minutes, which it kind of was, but then I stayed on the couch for longer because I was tired. And I didn't get started until like 3, and then I played pickleball at 5, and then I wanted to continue, but I was kind of cashed. So today, I don't give a fuck how tired I am feeling. I'm going to pound coffee, and I'm going to get started if I have to, and hopefully that's not the case. But I have to finish my journaling. It has to be something that happens no matter what. Because it's what is going to make me progress as a trader. So, there's not even a point in trading if I'm not going to journal. I did finish some of it. I did the first few trades, and I filled out some of the journaling. I recapped the action, but I didn't recap my actions in the market. All of them. So, the most important things to note about yesterday's session is that I did a pretty good job. I was just missing the bigger picture of that 4100 test. It took me out, and then I couldn't get back on board for that move. And then when it broke back to 16 to that gap mid area and then came back. I did catch it. But there are some other very important things. I haven't been taking profit very well on my first contract at around 7 points. There's been like 7 trades in the last 2 days or whatever where it hits like a 7 point area, sometimes a potential target, and I'm holding for more, and then I'm getting scratches. Like for example, yesterday I took those 2 longs, and the obstacle was at like 12.5, and I'm holding for a break of 12.5, but I'm already 7 points in profit, so I should be taking profit there. Another thing, so that's really important, and I'm gonna keep that in my head today, because I need to be playing the targets that are right in front of me, and then I have a runner. I'm fortunate enough, or the way that I'm operating is I have a runner. So I'm not doing a 2-lot configuration. It's technically more of a 3-lot. So having a runner is a really great thing. Also, price was hitting the 25 location. It came up to 23, and I'm like, I start freaking out about my target a little bit. And I take off a contract at 20 when my initial area to buy back was 23. And we also have those targets above at 25 and 26.5 that likely want to be tested. So I just need to chill and let it work, Then we come up to my location, and then we start to reject. And upon that rejection, I'm trying to take shorts, but I'm not accounting for those areas that we have above. And I need to account for those. So the best thing to do is to just chill and let it work or not work. And then I took off my runner at 18 upon a rejection, and it only went like 2 points, and then it ran to 40 over time. So I need to be able to understand the fundamental aspect of, okay, price is currently sitting at 20. I'll place my stop at 16, but this is a runner with no risk, so I'm risking 6 points to make 20. So that's over a 3-to-1. So I just need to chill and let it work out or not work out. One thing I could do that Tom kind of was edging at is that I could like set a trade and walk away. Like let's say it's 10:30 and I put on a trade and it's working for me. It's acceptable to get up and do whatever I want to do, and then just see if it works, because the market's going to do whatever it wants, and a lot of times me interfering hurts me anyway. Overall, yesterday I was pretty aligned with the market context for that move up, but then I started taking IBF shorts, knowing that we have the settle above, and then that 12 area was held pretty well. So I became out of alignment there. I think I'm just like, searching a little too hard for trades. We had that uptrend day that I was watching yesterday on 214, and I was seeing the picture a lot more clearly with LVNs and entries on those LVNs, which made me really happy because it's not something that I've really been able to see in the past. Yeah. So today, well, all right. So let's set some goals for today. My goals are to, my first goal, which is very important, is to recognize where the statistics are and where my obstacles are and take profit around those locations. And don't be greedy and try to be a hero. You know, a lot of the times I'm only risking 2.5 to 3 points, so a 7-point gain is really nice. That's a 2-to-1. So let's be aware of what our strategy calls for, which is taking profit at an obstacle. I'm going to really continue to focus on the higher time frame chart for large impulses and for structure, because ever since I started doing that, I'm seeing the picture a lot more clearly. Things are a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier for me to stay aligned. And it's also more enjoyable to be looking at the higher time frame chart, because I'm not like being flung around emotionally by every tick in the chart. So yeah, we want to pay attention to large impulses, and according to our pre-market plan, we want to keep it in mind and use it as our operating basis with our two scenarios. But we have to compare it to what's actually happening in the market and what context we're seeing, and then decipher, is this scenario 1, scenario 2 potentially playing out, or is it none of it? So let's go over the pre-market plan together, because I'm just seeing it for the first time. My initial judgment of this morning is at the 94 location. I was watching the market last night, and I said, this might be the high, and I thought about, I didn't think about shorting it, but because I didn't really want to sit here and watch it, but I thought that after we broke this level and we had this huge rejection, that this could be a good short, and my target was 55. So in the morning, in the overnight session, we just gap, and then we try to push up. We can't, and we push, and we're at the over-under line. And now we use the levels as resistance, and we're testing the over-under line, and we're kind of chopping. So I think that this morning there's potential for responsive buying. We have a high volume node here at 88, but I really think that we could come up into these areas. See previous volume point of control, century figure, previous close, previous low a day. There's a lot happening up in this area. I think that's a previous week's volume point of control. A lot going on here. So we could see responsive buying come up and maybe stall out before this location, or maybe hit it. And then because this was technically a break of the trend, this line here, so we think that it's very possible that sellers will step in at that location. And then I'd be looking for a retest of this over-under, overnight low, and then potentially 55 into 40-30, which is an important area. And 4,000 is very key support. But if we do try to make a test lower over the under the over-under, and we see a large impulse and buyers step in, then I also think it's possible for us to come up and potentially start to base here, and then test the previous volume point of control, and then the 25 level. So I think the 25 would probably be the extended target for that. But let's see how we are comparing to what John says. So we reopen gap lower, and we initiate a trend lower. We have a clear double distribution with an LVN at 80. which is at the top of the stock zone. So we broke the weekly one time framing that has been running for 8 weeks. So the first scenario is to close the gap. So if we get this, he'd expect a small test lower early, but the overnight low would either hold or be tested, immediately rejected. Thank you so much. You're my favorite. Thanks, Dad.
The eggs aren't my best.
That's okay. So he'd look for progress higher lows, and potential for an impulse. Hold above 80s, he'd expect the gap to close. Yesterday low is the first target. Yesterday point of control. 4109 would be the key target for a gap close trade. If price is able to hold yesterday's range, he would expect, if the gap closes, open for continuation, and the key extended target is 4125. So that's his primary scenario. Scenario 2 is gap and go for 40.50 and 40.33. If we get this, he'd expect a very small test higher into above FS levels that quickly and soundly rejects. So that's FS levels just became the overnight volume point of control at 4078. Seeing this, he'd expect price to impulse lower and take the overnight low. Expect the 67 over-under stock zone to resolve as resistance. Seeing this, he'd expect continuation to test 40.50, key target for today. If that area is not immediately rejected and sellers are able to continue to make progress, he'd be open to continuation for our extended target 40.33. Yeah, so that's that was basically my plan, but reversed. So gap rules will be applied. We're gonna stay in the flow this morning and enjoy ourselves. Yep. All right. GG. All right. So we have our plan for this morning. We just came up and tested 83. We're very likely to come up and test the 4100 location, and it's very likely to be defended. But if we come up to 84 and we can't break above, then we're likely to flush. So we have either gap to settle or open line break trading. There's the overnight volume point of control shifted. A lot of volume being traded there. So we're price checking low. We haven't price checked high yet.
Buy ice cream.
Okay, so we get stopped there. Auctioning below. Overnight low is pretty far down there. Coming into the levels. Testing the high here. Let's see if we break above or below. Little VPOC migration. Starting to fall under. And a test right back up. Looks like we might continue higher. So we got to break the open. There's the there's the high that was broken.
Flow with the market context.
A lot of liquidity stepping in below. We have a lot of structure here at 75 for some potential for an entry. Little test of the LVN. Maybe continuation here. Here's the overnight volume point of control tested. That's at 79. The book is pretty black. Little zipper. Coming up in 83, that was the high. Little rejection.
Which side has stronger impulses?
Potential response of buying after potential sellers. Be patient, says Tom. Follow your plan. Manage FOMO. A little high volume node here. Break above. So we have mid, VWAP, and VPOC for some potential. Upon structure. So there's mid. Buy ice stepping in. There's VWAP. Liquidity stepping in. Looks like this may be my stop. A lot of liquidity stepped into the book there. Okay, stopped. We still have structure down here at 75. The low is sitting at 71. A lot of liquidity stepped in above. We just tested the volume on the higher time frame from the morning. We popped back up above, expecting maybe some sellers here.
Anticipate potential areas to interact with the market. Wait for the market to come to my location. Wait to see the structure and to pull back to the volume.
So we're holding below the open. We tested lower. We retested this area, falling below. So this may be the quote-unquote fizzle out. We do see liquidity stepping in here. We don't really want to see that. Overnight low is at 63 to target.
Narrate the market, not my mind.
So that's another test of the low and a break. Looks like we got risk neutral. And here comes sellers. So we're trading towards targets. So that's the open line break trade there. So 2.5 points. So we broke the opening swing here. Auctioning below.
Buy iceberg.
Stops and a buy ice. Holding on to structure here. Little high volume node, selling structure, back auctioning the low. And if we break here, it may bring my target. So we tapped the high, and we've held this, so it may hold and continue back up. This also kind of does look like a flag. Testing the outside edge. So after holding this, it's kind of, you know, and coming back, we still have some selling pressure on. We have this high volume node. Now we're gonna have to work to get out under.
Are my expectations matching reality? Flow with the market context.
We're auctioning at the high volume node here. Not really any liquidity supporting the price here. Test low. Liquidity stepping in above the high volume node. And we have liquidity stepping in at the structure here. Here comes some selling back to the low. Testing this low that's now weak. Slight break, selling's increasing. Liquidity assisting. And we're coming into the first target here. This liquidity gotta get out. Some pretty heavy selling there. Okay. And overnight low not yet tagged. So that target is still available. We have that high volume node at 71. So potential area to interact. I have to see how much I'm willing to give back here. I don't think I have to move my my stop loss, because I think that it's more likely that we hit 50 before. So we missed the overnight low, so that's kind of an important piece of information. Nice looking auction. Climbing higher, we see 5 stops. Now we're seeing some more. Not yet testing the high volume node. Liquidity pulls here. We did test the previous week's low.
Anticipate potential areas to interact with the market. Wait for the market to come to my location. Wait to see the structure and to pull back to the volume.
Liquidity coming in here. We're auctioning below this low. Seems like 70 is pretty decent now. $69, $71. Yeah, it's good. Coming into the overnight low. Still not hit. Kind of interesting, right? We're auctioning this low here. Wow. So we pull up to this volume. We see selling structure. It's creating structure, so when it breaks, there might be longs under it, so maybe it'll provide some fuel for a move lower if it breaks. If it doesn't, I think that'll be kind of strange.
Sell stop.
So there it is, and we see the stops. Now what's going to happen? Are we just going to push right back in? So we do have structure here to rely on. And if we break above, then we're likely to test here, and this isn't the strongest. So I'm okay with moving my trailing stop to that location. We're down here testing the lows. Sell ice.
Sell iceberg.
Ices are accumulating. We see 421, 225, 118, 278, almost 1,000. Whoa.
Sell stops.
A lot of stops. Big selling. Return. Liquidity, liquidity. Still selling pressure down to the lows.
Sell stops.
Are my expectations matching reality? Flow with the market context.
More stops. Still pushing this area. Liquidity's trying to fill in. Buy ice. Probably hedging shorts. Tom says observe several short setups. T-Lab. We have high volume at 63.5.
Buy iceberg. Sell stops. Sell stops.
Wow. 863 stops. High volume here. We see a little bit of buying pressure. We'll see how we react to the 60. We test it, and now we're testing here. And we're breaking. Liquidity steps in, they're trading. Still coming down, it looks. I think I could probably put my stop somewhere in here. We're 5 points away from our target. And we're risking 4 now. Still coming down though. A lot of liquidity stepping in underneath there. Pretty decent impulse. We're up at the HVN. This looks like a selling structure. No range. All right, and we get removed from our runner. We have a high volume node here. High volume node at 63.
quality over quantity.
Break of the structure here.
Anticipate potential areas to interact with the market. Wait for the market to come to my location. Wait to see the structure and to pull back to the volume.
So we have some structure here, and then we price checked it a bunch. Now we have a little bit of structure here. And potential to test higher into the 65 over under. Don't want to be shorting this after holding here, testing, now we're retesting. LVN though, right above. And then high volume node at 64. We have stops at 64 and 65.25. Seeing some exhaustion. Remember the structure we had at the overnight low. It's up a little bit higher. Selling's increasing. Break high. Testing that auction from earlier. Coming up into the HVN. Not many stops. Seen a stop run. It's 98 stops taken. Still continuing. 18 stops up there.
Buy stocks.
A lot of stops there. Some decent selling. We have VWAP. We have liquidity underneath the book here. Potential selling structure. But I would want to see VWAP picked. It was a selling structure though. But where am I going to place my stop? Right where VWAP is. It's kind of like, meh. So reaction from that 64 overnight low structure. Curling a little bit. We'll see if it continues or stalls out here. So it's attempting it. And it looks like it may get it. We have stops above 69.5 and structure there as well in the 70, which is right where mid is located. At 70. We have VPOC, VWAP, and mid up here. So this location actually did prove me wrong, which is kind of cool.
matching reality, flow with the market context.
So we're auctioning up here above this level. See if we want to hold it and continue to pick some stops higher. We have an LVN at 70. Here's a stop run.
Buy stocks.
A lot of stops. Auctioning the LVN. Starting to fail. Some decent volume there. That was a pretty large impulse. We had a break of the structure. So it's potential short, but it's not really the best location. And now we had a retest. Let's see if this VWAP starts resolving as resistance. Break the high here. $138 stops. Liquidity stepping in. At an LVN. I wanted to pull the trigger here, but
Anticipate potential Wait for the market to come to my location. Wait to see the structure and to pull back to the volume.
So this is starting to change here. So maybe we have to start adjusting to it. VPOC migration. This looks like a short. I wanted to see it come up a little bit. So now VWAP is kind of acting as resistance. We have potential to test the VPOC though. No dice. So now maybe a retest towards the VWAP. This looked like a short. Like, without a doubt. We have VHVN at the open. After breaking up above this, we tested this volume here. So this is the big battle. Seeing stops get picked, stop run. And we have to remember that we could still come up and test that 4100. Coming into a VHVN.
Stops.
Wow, pretty interesting. That looks like it's a shorting structure. $75. VHVN. Huge reaction off the lows.
Quality over quantity. Are my expectations matching reality?
Let's take a step back,
Below with
because
the
what
market
we're thinking
context.
is not really working out. We did just pull the VHVN, so it could be considered mean reversion. We just broke the low here. It's a short. But I don't really like it. Migration upwards. If we break above here, then we have a shot for 84 and then 4100. We also now have VWAP to VPOC as potential. Another migration. Two distributions here. It looks like it's kind of setting up to, I don't even know. We have this auction, then we come up and we have a high, and then we have a test of the volume, and we break to this volume, and now we're testing up here. So it could very reasonably be a potential for a short being below the open and everything. Now we hold this volume. This was a good short, but with the VPOC migration, it was not. The structure was nice, but the VPOC migration kind of McFuckled it. But interesting. We test here, and then we get this very large rally. Another VPOC migration. The high is at 67.5. I almost
Buy
entered there.
stops.
Buy stops. We're above the open now. We have to see how we react to the 83, 84 area.
Anticipate potential market. Wait for the market to come to my location.
So what we see...
Wait to see the structure and to pull back to the volume.
You're right, lady. We see a drop. We can't fill 50. We have a very large impulse up. We're starting to hold RTH VWAP. Get a test lower into this volume. And then break higher. We break to the top of this volume. And then we test lower. We test the 70 area, which is high volume right now. We're holding RTH mid, RTH VWAP, and this volume here. And now we have another extension higher. We have to watch 84. We have the IB being set.
Price talks. Price
So
talks.
that would be the way that we interact with the market here. And here's the open being held. $82. We're starting to auction underneath. We just missed the IB. So we're creating volume here at 81. We're auctioning below the low, which is a sign that maybe we're trying to gain some strength to test it. We have liquidity at the high. I meant below the high. So that's what we do here. We push it, balance, push it. Now we're pushing this 84 level. We're above the high. We have volume down here. We could look for some potential to get long targeting 4100. We want to see a test of this high volume node here. So price is being held down here. There's a lid on it at 84. So we broke below and now we're holding it as resistance. We're coming down to the high volume node. We basically tapped it. Pretty thin. May just drift up, may continue. And we're pushing it. LVN just underneath. So we broke above the 84 and we're just kind of drifting back. First signs of a little bit of potential. Now we're sinking lower. So we didn't have the strength to push through that 84 level and continue.
Are my expectations matching reality? Flow market context.
But if we get back to the VPOC, we might be able to catch along. We also have VWAP to VPOC. LVN here. And we're auctioning the high volume node. Liquidity pulls. Nothing there. LVN. 51 stops. We have VPOC lower. And now we're starting to see maybe some sort of behavior. Push higher. A retest. Nothing there. So now we're anticipating a tap of the VPOC at the very least. We see liquidity step in and a rise. We're testing this volume here. We also have VHVN here. And it looks like this is starting to exhaust. Maybe not though. We still want to see what happens with this. So we broke lower and then we broke lower to here, tried to test higher, broke lower, testing, broke the low. Tapped the VPOC essentially. So we're starting a base underneath. Coming up, testing the VPOC. Still a downtrend here until we really get up above this. All right, so now it's looking like we might have something going on. Testing this volume. After a large volume break. Seen some exhaustion on the bid here.
Quality over quantity.
We're back testing the
Anticipate
VPOC.
potential areas to interact with the market. Wait for the market to come to my location. Wait to see the structure and to pull back to the volume.
I looks like FT is buying. Note the price is holding and trying to push lower, but Delta's not playing along here. All right, so that means we fell out there. So we broke the low, didn't want to hold underneath. Strong impulse here. Slight migration. I think it's might bust to the upside. So 76.25 entry, 77.75, 74.5. So perfect.
Vice talks.
We're targeting the IBH is at 85.5, 0.75. So we'll target 2 ticks. We'll do 3. And then overnight high up in this bitch. 96 is overnight high. 1, 2, 3. 1 tick. Wow, so I really did catch that. Like, basically perfect.
Are my expectations matching reality?
I noticed
Flow with the market context.
every time we got down to this level is an immediate pop up, and then we broke higher, and then on this retest, I entered because I didn't really have to risk that much. I also noticed that we made a low at the VPOC, and then we broke up above here, this prior auction, and then when we broke lower, we immediately popped up with strong buying volume, began actioning, then auctioning, then retested this high. So upon a turn back, I placed my stop below this structure here. We're up at this high volume node here. We did see we broke it, and then so we came up to it, we tested, and then we couldn't break here, and then we broke up above, and then we held this volume. Now we're auctioning it. So skew is for I just stalled out there. Skew is still to the upside for an IB break. But it does look like we are sort of rolling over here. That's a break of structure, but then we just pulled right back. We have this liquidity keeping a lid on the price. A lot of liquidity stacked up there. So we broke down, we popped right back up, and we're kind of turning. Broke the high here, but we'll see if it has enough fuel for continuation. So we just broke through that liquidity. That's my first target. Very nicely done. And we see liquidity come in here. Haven't yet taken it. So now I can place my stop at, we have this LVN here, high volume node, low volume node. So like 78-ish. Maybe that one tick will save me.
Face talks.
All right, and that's a very strong break of the IB. But now we come right back to the inside, which is not what we like to see. So we wanted to see it not do that. So now we're auctioning this area here. And and that's my stop.
Anticipate potential areas to interact with the market. Wait for the market to come to my location. Wait to see the structure and to pull back to the volume.
After seeing this, I could probably place my stop somewhere down here. Because that is crazy. HVN tap. Potential to short that. LVN and then high volume node.
Sell stocks.
Well, I'm going to call it there. Successful day today. I started off rough. I started off with a long, looking for responsiveness after breaking this high. But we also had the overnight volume point of control here. I take the long, it goes in my direction by a little bit and then stops me out. We break low, but then we pop right back up. So first we have the sellers come in. So we have some buying, and then we hit the overnight volume point of control that just shifted. Sellers come in, and then we pop right back up. And then we get the responsive buying. We come back to VPOC. We set up a little bit of structure. I take a long. I get stopped out. So I was looking for a continuation, but we do see the selling structure here. And we tap the bottom of the volume of it. Yeah. So then I realized that the plan is playing out. We have this really strong impulse testing the 84, and that's something I really didn't account for at that play. But then when I get stopped and we see the second impulse and I see us balancing below these areas with below the open, I take the short. This is a structure that we see it like. Basically what happens is we test high, we break low below the open, and then we come back up above, and then we break low again, and then we balance right before the low at the open, and then it breaks. So that's something that I have seen multiple times before. So I take the short, I get a scale. I take a target right before the overnight low. We continue, and then we start stalling out. And then we see this large impulse, and I have my trailing stop there at 61. So we get back 4 points from the low, and then it retests that volume, and then we see this crazy run. So this trade is essentially perfect. Then we're rallying.
Buy iceberg.
And I'm looking for shorts the whole time, but I don't pull the trigger. And after this, I start to think, okay, you know, maybe I should not be
Quality
looking.
over quantity. Are my expectations
So then-
matching reality? Flow with the market context.
So then we test the 84 level, but we break it to the upside and set the IB. And then we come back down and test this volume. And here I'm really in stock mode, and I did like a really, really good job with this trade. And I get the IB. Trailing stop is maybe a little bit rough, but I give it room to breathe. It stops me out. And now we've rejected very, very heavily. 19-point impulse to the downside. It's the second largest of the day, and the first largest was also selling. And we've broken below the day levels, and we're testing this volume. So yeah. FT says, now we're back below my stop, relatively balanced profile. Note that FS, RTH, VWAP / mid are now converging on developing point of control. Further indication of the auction is not discovering prices directionally. It is in balance. Yeah, so it's like basically two-sided trading with a downward skew. Very interesting day. Really interesting. Yeah, so I took 4 trades. 2 were bad, 2 were really good. And I made like $112 today. Great way to end the week. I was feeling a little bit groggy this morning. And I think that reflects on my decisions early in the morning. But I was able to get back into it. I caught the majority of the move down, and then I caught a good chunk of the move up. Yep. All right. GG.